Hello, friends. My name is Steve, and this is Steve Talks Books. Thank you for coming by and watching my weekly update. It's where I talk about what I've been reading, what I'm going to read, what I won't get to, and everything else in between. If you'd like to connect with me, the best place is on our forums at pagechewing.com. So we have all of our discussions. We have a bunch of groups. We have a bunch of stuff there. Too much to mention. Lots of stuff, lots of great people. Go check that out if you want to connect with us over there. I can also be found on Vero at that one MFer. It's where I post mostly everything. I post all like what I'm watching, what I'm listening to, what I'm reading, a lot of photography stuff. I'm doing a picture a day for a year. I'm about in the middle of that. So lots of stuff over there. That's my happy place is Vero. It's a very different speed than other platforms. So go check it out if you haven't already. It's very different to get into. There's no algorithm or ads. So it does take a little bit of getting used to. So if you need help, let me know. I'll be happy to help. It can also be found here on YouTube at Steve Talks Movies, my second channel. Lots of stuff going on there too. Too much to mention. But those are the best places to find me if you'd like to connect with me outside of this channel. So let me go ahead and get into what I've been reading last week. I've been trying to narrow things down and to focus on these bigger fantasy books, and it seems to be working. I actually have a little bit of time in between to like take a breath, so it's been working out okay. We are reading The Great Ordeal. I'm reading that with Daniel and Katerina for our Second Apocalypse series podcast, and I mentioned last week that it was on track to be my favorite of the series, not just the Aspect Emperor series. It may even dethrone The Darkness That Comes Before. We're not quite there yet, but it's at least my second or third favorite. So I have a few more chapters to go. We discussed chapters 12 and 13. That'll be posted to the channel this week. And lots of stuff happening. I'm a little bit surprised that we're getting so much detail in this book, that we're getting so much movement and revelations, and we're finding so many things out. I'm a little bit surprised because we have a whole nother book to go in the series. So yeah, so it's been a lot of fun. I'm also reading Curse of the Mistwraith. We are meeting every few chapters over the course of the next few weeks, leading right into our discussion with Jenny Wirtz. And that one, I'm glad we're breaking it down by chapters. It is very dense, and it's a book that I can see myself getting lost in, like getting confused and like soldiering on and then missing things. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been really productive, I think, for all of us to meet and to discuss chapters at a time. I think for these books especially, I am enjoying these kind of breaking it down and not trying to just plow through it. And then you get to the end and you're like, what just happened? So now I'm every few chapters, and then I say, what just happened? So it's a little change, but it's been helping me keep up and not get lost, especially in these denser fantasy books. I'm still learning how to absorb those the best way. It's been a lot of fun. And Curse of the Mistwraith, I think, is a book that I'm surprised more people don't talk about. So far, it's been really good, and I've been enjoying the story. It's very layered, and I love the magic system. I love the writing. You do have to take your time with it, because I find myself kind of reading and then I have to go back and reread sections because it's just so dense, and so it's packed full of information and descriptions that sometimes I just have to be sure to take my time. That's something I'm learning. Go back and take your time. We were also reading Berserk, and we're meeting every Sunday for that. We're reading a volume at a time in these big deluxe editions, which I have right here. These things are gigantic. We're reading a volume a week and meeting every Sunday. We are skipping next week, and I'll get to that here in a minute. But for those of you who have these books, I have a question for you. Because they have a very distinctive smell. And I'm going to sound like Leslie from the Nerdy Narrative. But it has a very distinctive smell. It's a good smell. It's a pleasant smell. But it's a very distinctive smell. I've noticed all three editions I've gotten, I unwrap it, and it has that smell to it. It's like a plastic, weird smell. Let me know if I'm the only one, or is it just me? Maybe there's something wrong with me. I don't know. Possibly, it's probably what it is. So So coming up this week, I will be continuing The Great Ordeal. We'll actually be finishing that off this week, and we'll have that discussion next week to finish off The Great Ordeal. And I'll be reading the next few chapters of Curse of the Mistwraith. We are skipping a week, and I'll get to that here in a minute, because next weekend's going to be, everything got kind of pushed. So I'll get to that in a second for those of you who are interested. So on the channel last week, we did have the Friday conversation with Tom Mock and Nick Borelli. We, as usual, covered a bevy of topics. We discussed SPIFBO, awards, writing, reviews, kind of our process for writing reviews. How we do it. Like, do we wait on it? We talked about AI, and of course, the topic of that Wired article about Brendan Sanderson came up, because of course it did. We discussed that for a little bit too. So go check that out if you are curious. Also, the Curse of the Mistwraith video was posted for chapters 1 through 5, and then this coming week will be 6 through 10. So that'll post this week. Also, we discussed Berserk Volume 7 with Varsha, Joe Byrne, and Dan. And it's fun discussing those because they're easy to get through, and it's just relaxed. It's not as dense. And sometimes it's fun to just read something that's not as packed. It's been a nice break. It's been a nice thing to kind of cleanse the palate a little bit. So I've been enjoying that quite a bit over to talk about Berserk with those fine people. Been a lot of good stuff. So I am going to Virginia this coming week. I'm leaving Thursday night. I'm flying out to Richmond. I have a layover in Atlanta, and then I fly into Richmond late, too late for the rental car places, apparently. So I'll be sleeping in Richmond that night and then driving to AuthorCon, which is in Williamsburg, and I'll be staying there until Monday, and then I fly back from Richmond back home. So because of that, the usual stuff I have during the week and during the weekend, unfortunately, I won't be around to do it. So because I have reading sprints on Tuesday, unfortunately, I have to cancel those this week just because I'm trying to get everything ready to go. So unfortunately, no reading sprints this week. I have to pack and get my stuff ready. And then plus I'll be working Thursday too. So it's a really hectic week. But yeah, so unfortunately, no reading sprints this week. I'm going to miss all of you, but I will be back next week, next Tuesday, for more reading sprints. I'm looking forward to connecting with all of you again. And no Friday conversation this week, unfortunately. And so we bumped the Curse of the Mistwraith discussions a week. It'll actually line up okay because of our meetup with Johnny Wirtz. So if you are behind on Berserk, Curse of the Mistwraith, or anything else you want to join us on, it's a great time to catch up to. You have a week to catch up to us. We'd love to have you join us if you'd like to join. So it's a bummer, but I had to cancel Tuesday, so I'm going to miss all of you. On Monday, I will have my third episode of Steve Talks 2, and I will be talking with Jules V. Gaksh. And I hope I'm not mispronouncing Jules's name, because I'm sure I am, but I will get the correct pronunciation from her on Monday, and I'll be sure and tighten that up, because I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it. But as Jules is a horror author who I've been, chat from time to time for a long time, and wanted to pick her brain on her process and writing and everything else. So tune in for that Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That'll be live. Hope you can come and join us and interact with us. It's going to be a great time. I already sent over some questions, like some example questions, and it sounds like they turned out okay. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm all set to go. Just have to sit down and have a fun talk. So looking forward to that. So yeah, this week's going to be kind of crazy. But because I am going to AuthorCon, and I did mention last week that I learned my lessons from StokerCon because I didn't have anything planned ahead of time. And I think that hurt me. It not hurt me, like that hurt the odds of me making content at StokerCon. That came out really bad. You know what I mean? That it was a detriment that I didn't plan ahead of time, and I'd never been to a con like that before. I didn't know what to expect. So this time I have a bunch of people lined up that I'm going to be talking to, general days and times. So what I want to do is have for most people, they won't have a ton of time. So I want to have like 10 questions to ask them, basic questions just to kind of get things going. Of course, I'll have some follow-ups, but mainly those 10 or so questions. So are there any questions you'd like to have me add to the list? It could be anything. It could be, I was kind of thinking like, how was your experience been at AuthorCon? Why horror? Basic enough, but still varied to be interesting. So I'm looking for suggestions. I'm hope to make my list and have it ready. That way I can, because everyone will be busy at their booths and I'm trying to not be too much of a pest. So any suggestions are welcome. If you'd like me to add any questions to the list, I would really appreciate it. I need all the help I can get. So yeah, so it's been lots of, I'm just trying to get everything ready, trying to get ready for this trip. And yeah, it's been a while since I used to do a lot of business travel. I haven't done any travel for a while. So it's been, it's going to be neat to do some traveling again. It's been a little bit, to the East Coast anyway. Haven't been there in a while. So looking forward to it. So yeah, that's about all I've been reading. I've just been trying to focus in on certain things. There are other books I have in my Kindle that I am taking with me. Hope to knock out some smaller books. Hope to start on some arcs that I was sent, and kind of get chipping away at those. But we'll see how far I get. I'm gonna have some time on the plane, so we'll see how it goes. So I will be having some shorts and some other stuff this week from my travels, and I'll have a vlog with a V, Jeremy, to document my experience and just kind of share with all of you, kind of what it was like or whatever. So we'll see how it turns out. I've never been that good at vlogs, so we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. Cross your fingers for me. So my question this week is something that I've been experiencing a lot lately. It makes me wonder, I think everyone has an opinion on it, and I want to hear your opinion. And that is the deja vu. It's this feeling you get when the sudden, like this wave of like something comes over you, like this realization comes over you, and you feel like you're reliving a moment. And it usually doesn't last that long, at least for me. It usually only lasts, I don't know, 5 or 10 seconds. It feels like I'm reliving something again, or all this feels really familiar, like I've been here before. And you get like goosebumps, and you just feel like this sense of like weirdness come over you, like it just like flows over you. So number one, have you experienced it before? And number two, do you think it means anything to you? Like, is it just a weird thing that happens? Do you put any stock in it? Do you think it means anything? Because sometimes I wonder, I kind of expect something major to happen, like something good or bad after. And I kind of wonder, okay, well, what comes next? Because I've seen that it feels like I've done this before. So what comes next? It's a weird feeling. So let me know what your thoughts are on deja vu, and if you put any stock into it, or if it's just weird things that happen from time to time and doesn't mean anything. It could be that too. So let me know what you've been doing, what you're up to. Do you have anything special planned for this week? I'd love to hear about it. Let me know down in the comments. Also, let me know what you're reading, watching, or listening to. We started watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and I heard about it for a long time. It's been around for a long time, but I started watching it, and it's better than I expected it to be, which is always a good thing. I'm kind of particular about comedy. I'm kind of picky, but the comedy is right up my alley. It's like bad people doing semi-bad things all the time. They're all kind of jerks, but I don't know. It's been pretty funny so far. It's been pretty good. I think I am on season 2, I think now. So yeah, been enjoying it. It's been fun. It's been a fun series so far, and I hear it's pretty consistent throughout. So here's hoping it holds up. But let me know what you're up to. What are you excited for? What have you been consuming? I'd love to hear about it. I always love to connect with all of you and hear what you're up to, hear whatever you have planned in your life. My week was pretty rough. I had a rough work week, and it sounds like it'll carry over in this week. But thankfully, this vacation time is coming up, so I just have to get through this week. I wish I could vent about it, but I can't because it's work stuff. I can't talk too much about it, but it was a week. It was a week. So enough about me. How are you doing? I'd love to hear about it down in the comments. I always love to connect with all of you. That's what keeps me here doing this stuff. So don't be shy. Comment down below, or if you don't, that's okay too. So hope you all have a great week. I will be posting here and there with my travels and my adventure coming up. So looking forward to it. But yeah, we'll talk to you all soon. Thanks again for all of your support. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you for spending your time with me. I know time is precious, and thank you. It means a lot to me that you decide to spend a few minutes of your day with me, hear me babble about books and other pointless stuff. I appreciate it. Have a great week, and we will talk to you soon.